It's Donna and Wendy and our guest Kim with the Vegan Travel Gals, and we are here to talk to you this lovely day about what we're going to be doing in 2018. But we also want to talk to you about what happened this past year, and Anyway, oh, I think I see Maria. Okay, Maria, hey. All right, I'm going to show that on there. Good. I'm glad to see you there. So I have this fun thing that's going on that I don't think the other gals can see unless they go onto Facebook and look at it. We've got snow, we've got Santa Claus, I can change it to reindeer. This is something new that Be Live just started doing.
I can see it now. It's snowing on us. That's so cool.
Isn't it cool? And look, I can change it to reindeer, Santa and the reindeer. That'll come on. We're on a delay, so it's hard to see.
Yeah.
Anyway, who wants to start? Wendy. Wendy's got the longest list of where she went this year, and we missed her last month, actually the past 2 months, because she was everywhere.
Yeah, that's true. So I'm really glad to be back.
And by the way, hi, Maria.
Hi, Maria.
Hi, Maria. So glad you could join us. So it's really good to be back here with Vegan Travel Gals. Unfortunately, I did miss, I think, the last 2 months, as you said, Donna, because I was traveling in Africa. And that was awesome.
Before you get started, can I ask that people please share this out to everyone they know? And I want to thank the replay watchers for watching this. This is going to be a fun event today. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Wendy.
Yeah, sure. So, like I was saying, the reason that I couldn't join for the past couple of months was because I was traveling in Africa, which was amazing. I saw so many wild animals and had an incredible time. But in terms of like staying connected with, the internet, it was very difficult because I just didn't have a very good internet connection for most of the time that I was traveling there. So it was hard to
join us, though. You did join us. That's right. You were somewhere. Where were you?
I was in Namibia. I was in Windhoek, Namibia, in the capital. So I did join for one. I was away for 3 months, so I think I managed to join for one of the 3 months, and then I missed the other 2 months while I was there. That was just kind of a fluke that I had just landed in. I was in the capital, and so I was in a guest house there, and they did actually have good Wi-Fi, so I managed to jump in, so that was good. So I spent 3 months traveling all around Southern Africa, 9 different countries in total, so I'll list them off. I went to Swaziland, Lesotho, Mozambique, Malawi, Zambia, Botswana, Namibia, South Africa. That's 8. Is that 8?
Yeah.
I'm missing one. 8? Zimbabwe.
Oh, Zimbabwe. God, you can't believe you didn't. I mean, that's so crazy. You don't even know what country you were in.
I thought I was on top of it, but it was a lot to keep up with. So that was my big trip of 2017, and I'm still kind of recovering from that. I've been home for a couple of weeks now, back in Lisbon, Portugal. That's another big thing that happened in 2017. I moved to Portugal in January of this year, so this is now my home base, and I'm planning to stay here, we'll see, roughly 6 months out of the year, and then travel the other half of the year, something like that, but I'll be coming and going a lot. I went to Africa, moved to Lisbon, and then I'd say the third big thing that I did was to walk the Camino de Santiago. Wow. I don't know if you know about that, but it's a medieval pilgrimage trail that the destination is a city in Spain called Santiago de Compostela, which is in the far northwest corner of Spain. And so in medieval times, I should say that is where the remains of Saint James, or Santiago in Spanish, are said to be kept in the Cathedral of Santiago de Compostela. So that's why it became this big destination for pilgrims. And of course, in medieval times, people would just walk out of their door and they would start from wherever they happened to live, wherever that was in Europe, and then they would walk to Santiago. So you have lots of different trails that lead to Santiago. And now in the past, I'd say couple of decades, it's become very popular again, with not just with people who are doing it for religious reasons, but also people who want to go on a pilgrimage for more spiritual reasons, or they just want to go on a really long hike, or, you know, people have lots of different reasons that they might want to do it. And so the trail that I did is kind of the most popular, most typical one now, and it starts in a little village in France called Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port, which is just across the border in the Pyrenees Mountains.
Oh,
so you
nice.
start there. Yeah, it's beautiful. And you cross the Pyrenees. So you walk over the Pyrenees on the first day of the hike, and you cross the border into Spain, and then you walk across the entire length of Spain. So it's 800 kilometers, or about 500 miles in total.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's what I did, and ate vegan the whole way. I really didn't find it to be that difficult, even though a lot of people told me that it was going to be impossible. And I have a blog post about that. So if you are interested in walking the Camino, maybe I can just throw that link into the chat box underneath the video.
I put your link up on the page, so they can find it there too, right? Yeah.
Yeah. If you search, I'll just throw it down here. All right, it should pop up underneath the video now, the direct link to the blog post about the Camino de Santiago. But yeah, if you search for Camino de Santiago on the page, you'll find that as well.
Great. Well, before we go into what you're doing next year, I want to ask Kim what she did this past year. Are you there, Kim?
Yeah. Yeah, like Wendy, I think one of the biggest things I did was relocate from the Boston area to really vegan paradise of Asheville, North Carolina. I knew before I moved here that it would be vegan friendly, but I really wasn't prepared for how active the local community is. So there's a few different groups that are just doing vegan social things. Then there's ones that are much more serious and just do animal outreach. We've got a lot of vegan restaurants here. We have 2 animal sanctuaries that are pretty much within the city limits. We have a vegan bar 30 minutes outside of Asheville. We have a vegan brewery, which is the owners just opened their own sanctuary. And it's just fantastic. Recently, I was asked by a local company, a transport company that does brewery tours and nature tours and that type of thing, to come up with a vegan half-day itinerary in Asheville. So that will be something kind of available on demand. Unfortunately, because it's with transportation, they need a minimum of 6 people to book the tour in order for it to happen, but it doesn't have to be 6 people from the same party. So if 2 people sign up from one party and then there's people from another group, the tour will happen. So those should start early next year. And I've been going to a lot of vegan festivals around the US, and the really cool thing is that a lot of them are starting up in the Southeast, where you wouldn't really expect them to be. So a lot are in their first or second year. I've been to Kentucky, Tennessee, South Carolina. I think we have 5 or 6 in North Carolina now, which is really incredible. So that's been really fun to see, and to meet people that oftentimes don't know any other vegans, and they're just so happy that there is a festival there, because oftentimes they don't even have vegan restaurants to go to, and they don't have meetup groups. So we always try to encourage them to start something, at least a monthly potluck or something like that. And I took a group to Berlin in August. It was a great trip. We stayed at a vegetarian hotel. It was an 8-day trip. We only ate at vegan restaurants. A vegan festival was going on in Berlin. We had a 4-hour vegan walking tour. So It was great, and that was an itinerary I would definitely hope to offer again.
That's awesome. So
I apologize if you can hear the sirens. That's coming from my end. I can hear it, so I guess that you can probably hear
not
it.
coming from my end. I hope not.
I do live in the heart of Lisbon, in the city center. So yeah, we have the trams that rumble past the house, and you can feel it vibrating on the floors. And now we also have an ambulance that I fear might be stuck in traffic because
I hear
sound
that.
is
That's crazy.
still there.
So we had a big year this year. I didn't do a lot of traveling. We had a lot of family personal issues going on. Unfortunately, my cat passed away and she was very sick, and so it was hard for us to travel. Um, and I have an elderly parent, and so there was a lot of stuff that prevented me from going to Italy, which I should have been doing. But we did have groups going to Italy this year. We took Miyoko Shinner and some people to Sicily, and I had an art group that went to the Amalfi Coast, but I wasn't able to go with either one of them. So what I did is I did some weekend trips, and I did go to Chicago for a weekend to visit my intern, Brittany. And we went to see a political comedy show, which was the Stephanie Miller show, and it was a lot of fun. And I did get to eat some of the great food in Chicago, and I got to hang out with Marla Rose, who's an old dear friend of mine. And but during the summer, I realized earlier in the year, I realized that this was my 20th year of being Green Earth Travel. I've been in the business since 1985, I think. And back then I had a lot of vegan friends. And back then, vegan people were very loyal to vegan businesses, because there wasn't the internet that we have now, right? So they, I built up a lot of vegan clientele. And long story short, I started Green Earth Travel in 1997. And I decided to do a weekend celebration. And I thought I would do it something somewhat local. So it was in the Frostburg, Cumberland, Maryland area in the woods. And it was a place called the Savage River Lodge, which my husband and I actually went for my birthday one year because it's a dog-friendly place and it was eco-friendly. And thanks, Maria. Oh, by the way, Kim, Maria said to say hi to you.
Yeah, I saw that. We met at the Boston Veg Fest last year.
That's right. That's right. So the place is fabulous. I mean, the whole place is run on solar energy. Like they have all these solar panels outside there, in this hill. And so it's 100. When I went there like 3 or 4 years ago, they were just putting it up. So they were only partially solar energized. Now they're 100% solar runs on solar energy. And they did a dinner just for us. It was a vegan dinner. Now, mind you, this is a place where hunters go sometimes, so they're not really used to it. But the chef was really into it, and he did a fabulous job. And we had a good time. We had a friend of ours that is a wine specialist, so we did a little wine tasting in his cabin. His name is Mike Markarian. And it was all vegan wines. He specifically picked it out for our vegan wines. It was great. In fact, I need to contact him to get the names of those wines again. And so that was it. I mean, I did, like you, Kim, I did some vegan festivals. I went down to the Richmond one. And I decided this year, because of what happened down in Charlottesville, instead of going to the Baltimore one, I would support the Charlottesville one.
Yeah.
And of course, I did my annual DC Veg Fest and one as well. So, but that was it. It was a lot of weekend travel. And then I had my Dachshund festivals in Frederick, Maryland. That's a weekend one, and that's so much fun. It's only like an hour away, but I stay overnight because you get to hang out with like 600 dachshunds, which my dog is a dachshund. He's a rescue, by the way, in case anybody's wondering. But yeah, so it's a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. So let's talk about what we're going to be doing this year, because we got a lot of stuff going on this year. And Maria, I want you to pitch in and type in what you're doing this year. So if you could type below, that would be great. And also, if you could put in your link to your page too, so people know how to find you. Maria is a vegan travel blogger from the World Vegan Trekker, and I was hoping she could come in, but she's in an office right now where she can't do audio or video. So, well, but I want to see if she'll put in some. Okay, she said okay. So, Wendy, where are you going? What are you doing next year?
Well, if 2017 was busy, then 2018 is going to be just ridiculous because I have got lots of things going on and lots of things that I'm really excited about, really looking forward to. So let's see, I guess I'll start from the top. The first trip, this is just a little trip, and this is just like a total indulgence on my part. A little known fact is that I am a huge figure skating fan.
What?
So I'm gonna, yeah, I love to watch figure skating. And I took it up like as an adult, so I'm not, it was purely for fun and purely a hobby. But yeah, I used to skate when I lived in Switzerland. Now here in Portugal, we don't have a good ice skating rink here, so I can't really skate anymore, but I love to watch it. So I'm going to Milan to see the World Figure Skating Championships in March of 2018. So I'm really looking forward to that. And I love Italy, so I'm always happy to go back to Italy for whatever reason. And I'm thinking I might try to expand that trip and turn it into a little book tour, because I'm hoping that my book is going to be out by then. I'm working on a book that is all about vegan food in Italy. It's called Italy for Veggie Lovers. And if I can get it together in time, then I would like to do a little book tour around Italy, at that same time, or maybe in the UK as well, maybe go around to a few vegan festivals in the UK, because there's a strong vegan movement there and people who read English and might like to read my book. But yeah, that's still on hold. We'll have to see if I'm able to get the book out in time or not. And then after that, I am going on another Camino to Santiago because I've got the Camino bug. I thought it was a wonderful experience. It really was a very deep kind of spiritual transformational experience for me, and I want to do it again. So sorry, Maria has just posted what she was doing.
Maria just said, as a part-time traveler, I do 1 or 2 overseas vacations per year, 1 long weekend in different parts of the U.S. and many, many road trips. Yes, she does a lot of many road trips in New England states, and she's posting her plans for the following. So keep going. We'll go ahead and we'll chat with that in a moment. Sorry.
Okay, that's right. So I'm doing another Camino, but not the same route that I took, before. I did the one that started in France and went all the way across Spain. This time I'm doing a different Camino that's called the Camino Primitivo, that starts somewhere in northern Spain. I believe it starts in Oviedo. So it's a shorter one. It's only about 10 days or so to get back to Santiago, but I'm really looking forward to that. And then the next thing is something that Kim and I are actually kind of collaborating on together. So I am going to be leading one of the tours that Kim is organizing, and it is the tour of Lisbon and surroundings in Portugal. So I'm really excited because I love it here. I'm in my apartment in Lisbon right now, and I'm so excited to be here. And
uh-oh, she froze. Did we lose you? You might need to refresh.
And also all of my favorite restaurants, and of course give people advice on what are the best dishes to eat at those restaurants. And yeah, I mean, Lisbon and Portugal, they don't have a great reputation, I don't think, within the vegan community. And it's true that...
Uh-oh. What happened? We lost her.
Here.
We lost you there. We lost you there for a minute.
You lost me?
Yes, and you went to the lobby somehow. So that's
oh
okay.
no.
You're back.
Because I saw things going on. I thought it was Kim that had disappeared. I didn't know that I had disappeared.
No, it's you.
Oh no. All right, well, tell me where I should start over again.
We're talking about Lisbon or Portugal's reputation as a vegan place.
Right, yeah. So, because traditional Portuguese cuisine is very, very meat and fish heavy, people think they're really scared off of it, and they think that they're not going to find any vegan food here. But that's not true anymore, because there is really a burgeoning and quickly growing vegan movement, particularly here in Lisbon. And we've got lots of great vegan and vegetarian restaurants. And a lot of the mainstream restaurants are starting to add more and more veggie options. So, really excited about taking people to all my favorite restaurants around town, telling them what to order, what the best dishes are there, and I think it's going to be fantastic. I'm really excited about it. And then Kim and I are collaborating again. So one more. I've got 2 more trips to talk about, and then I'll let someone else talk. So Kim and I are doing another one together in Italy that will be in September. So that's kind of the classic Italian tour. If you've never been to Italy, then these are all the places that you have to go on your first time trip to Italy. So we're going to Rome, Florence, Venice, and we're also going to Bologna because they have the largest vegan festival in the world there. And so we are timing the trip to coincide with the festival. So we're going to that vegan festival in Bologna. So that's going to be really awesome. And then my last and biggest trip, in terms of time anyway, in 2018 is going to be to South America. So I'm going to Brazil, Bolivia, and Paraguay. So Brazil and Bolivia, I've been to both of them before, but it was a long time ago, and both times the trip got cut short, or I didn't get to travel around as much as I had wanted to or planned to. So I love both of those countries, and I'm really looking forward to exploring them more. And then Paraguay I've never been to, so I decided I might as well go there while I'm in the neighborhood and check it out. So that is my 2018, which is going to be pretty jam-packed.
That is great.
No, it sounds like it.
Yeah.
Get over jet lag?
Yeah, I'm just in a perpetual state of jet lag. I do suffer from jet lag. I think it's getting better now because I've been meditating more consistently and doing some kind of meditation exercises right before I go to sleep, and that helps me. That's been helping me to get better sleep. But I do sometimes have problems with insomnia, and particularly if I've been changing time zones, then I find that it can really exacerbate that. But
we should do a segment just on jet lag alone. That's me. So I'm just gonna. We have a few comments here from Maria. Mm-hmm. She said for her upcoming lengthy trip, she's deciding between Vietnam, Cambodia, or Ghana for the culture, or Tanzania and Kenya for the wildlife. Hey, Maria, if you go to Cambodia, let me know. I have a connection there for you. He does it's a human circus. It's not an animal circus, but I've sent people there, and they said it made the whole trip worth going to. So let me know if you go there, and I'll get you connected with them. And then she said, I'm looking forward to spicy vegan food in Cambodia, as well as vegan coconut milk and vegan coconut milk based ice cream. Wow, she's got a lot here. In Tanzania, there appears to be a lot more vegan options this year, as well as vegan friendly safaris that prepare for vegan options. Yes, there have been for a while. So Tanzania has always been vegan friendly. Same with Kenya. For a long weekend, she wants to go to St. Louis, Missouri. For the Northeast region, in addition to New England, she's going to explore more of upstate New York. And she said, I started exploring there recently and been finding vegan dining and vegan shops that carry vegan handbags and other products. And then she said, I will be deciding in the next couple of weeks if I'm visiting Tanzania, Kenya, Ghana, Cambodia, Vietnam, probably Cambodia or Ghana. Again, get in touch with me about Cambodia because I'll have a contact for you. So
And I also have a contact to recommend in Cambodia as well, and I believe you also know them, Donna. It's Paul and Carol Ayers
yes,
from
they
Vegan
actually,
Food Quest.
yeah, and I actually was the one to send them to to the circus, and they loved it. They,
Oh,
sent them and Kristen there, and they absolutely love it.
very
Um,
cool.
yeah, so it's a really cool thing to do. So Kim, what's on your agenda?
Uh, yeah, so the first tour that I have is in last 2 weeks of April, and that's to Central Europe. So it's starts in Prague and then goes to Vienna and Budapest. Um, all really, really vegan friendly places. Prague has something like 42 vegan restaurants. A lot of them happen to be raw food. Um, there's a company that does a half-day walking tour in Prague, a vegan one, and as well in Budapest. And then the next trip will be 6 days in Asheville. That's starts May 18th, and there's only a couple spots left on that one. We'll be going to the Biltmore Estate, and they're going to be having a 6-month Dale Chihuly exhibit outside on the grounds of the estate. So that should be really cool. It's also going to be open at night, which I think that's the first time they're having a night exhibit of his work. We'll be going to a salt cave in Asheville, which is like a therapeutic treatment. It's supposed to be very good for your lungs and just general relaxation. We'll be visiting the Gentle Barn in Knoxville, Tennessee, which is about 2 hours away. And then just like a couple of days out.
Is that like the original vegan, like hippie counterculture place that was, I mean, there was this really cool
It's
book
not. That place is still, it's somewhere else in Tennessee.
Okay.
I think it's just called The Farm, isn't it?
Yeah,
It was called The
something like
Farm. That's right. But I thought it had changed names, so I wasn't sure if that was it or not.
No, this Gentle Barn is the second outpost of the Gentle Barn that started in California, and now they just opened a third location in St. Louis. From, I don't know if you heard about this story about these 6 cows that were on their way to slaughter earlier this year, and they escaped. And then their owners, said that they would let them go to a sanctuary, and then the Gentle Barn had to raise the money really quickly because somebody had some land, and they raised the money within a matter of just a couple of weeks. And
Wow.
then the sanctuary just opened about a month ago, I think. So, and yeah, I've also heard that the vegan food scene in St. Louis is really good. So that's a good choice for Maria. And then, yeah, we'll be doing the Lisbon tour with Wendy in the middle of June. And Lisbon and Portugal just keep appearing at the top of all the lists that I see of, the next hot destination. And I think it's also great because it's one of the more reasonably priced cities and countries in Europe, especially in Western Europe. And then we'll have the tour to Italy that starts August 31st. And then I'm actually going on a travel agent trip. I'm very excited about this, to Romania and Bulgaria in October.
Is this a fam trip?
Yeah, from my host.
Is this your first fam trip?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll talk later.
Yeah, okay. And my host is a huge Iceland fan. She thinks that these will be kind of the next hot destinations.
Yes.
So
yeah, and we'll talk about that in a moment. I want to talk about
Okay.
the hot destinations in a moment. First off, I want to thank everyone who's watching the replay again, and watching us live. And if you could please like this and share it out to whoever you can, that would be fabulous. My name is Donna. I'm actually, let me put my name up here. And I'm gonna, whoops, why did that happen? That's interesting. Okay, so I had my Green Earth Travel banner up there. So you can find me at Green Earth Travel. We're going to be doing a little bit more this year. So I've got my art trip. If you're a painter, let me know. We've got a few spots left. It's not a vegan trip, but it's a well-known painter in the area who has a following, and we have a couple spots left. It's going to be to the Amalfi Coast, and that's in April. And you can bring your non-painter spouses with you. And then in May, I'm so excited because I haven't been in a few years, and it's one of my specialties, and I've gone like at least a half a dozen times or more, is Ireland. It's one of my favorite countries on the planet. You know, the people are just so amazing. To me, the people is what makes Ireland happen. And the vegan scene is just booming over there. So we're doing a vegan trip to Ireland. And actually what I'm really excited about is I get to drink vegan Guinness now. It's vegan. It's vegan. As soon as it came out that they had vegan on tap, I went to the closest pub and I drank a Guinness, you know. So I'm very excited about that. I love the music there. You know, I just have a lot of connections there, and excited about that. We've got, you know, we've still got a few spots left on that trip, but it's pretty much filling up. And then we've got two more trips, actually three more trips to Italy, two to the Amalfi Coast, and then one of them is more of like an on your own kind of thing. I'm not sure I'll be on those trips, but we do have some spots readily available on that. And then another trip we've got two more trips after that I'm planning on going to. One is India, where we're going to the Farm Animal Aid, and we're going to be volunteering there for a few days. I'm going with Veg Voyages. So I'm really excited about that because that's part of the world that I have not been to yet. And I'm very excited about that one. And then Marla Rose is taking us to San Francisco for a long weekend. So yes, we'll be doing the redwoods, and we'll be doing a lot of eating because, you know, San Francisco is like home to the vegan market, basically. You know, my first favorite vegan restaurant was at the Millennium. So very excited about that. And then my husband and I are like thinking of what we can do together because we don't travel together anymore. I think, Kim, you and I had that discussion where one of us likes to travel and the other one is not so much as that. But and plus we have a dog and it's hard to leave him alone. So we like to do road trips, and we didn't get a chance to do any road trips last year because of everything that was going on. But I think we're going to be, you know, a couple of the thoughts was to go somewhere south, which we might end up in Asheville again. I love Asheville.
Yeah.
If we do, I'll let you know. But I really want to go to Nashville, Tennessee, and do the music.
Oh yeah,
scene.
it's the vegan scene there is terrific.
Yeah, is it really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Good.
And there's so many young people there. It's a really cool city.
Good. Yeah. So that's, you know, one of the things that we're thinking about, maybe doing the Grand Ole Opry, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
do you know Ashley, a Southern Gypsy?
I know her from Instagram.
Yeah, she has a great blog. So I'm sure she would love to meet you.
Oh yeah, I'll have to look her up. So we're going to have a busy summer if that's the case, because it's going to be India for 2 weeks. It's going to be California probably for a week because I don't go there for long weekends. And then if we go to Tennessee, that's going to be like all of my travel right there in a month, you know. Plus, and then a month and a half before I'll be in Ireland. So that's the plan for now. I don't think I'm missing out anything. It's going to be busy for us. Busy for me. Finally, I'm gonna get back into the groove of it.
Yeah.
So what do you guys see? You know, one of the things you were talking about the it places, and one of the places that I really see growing, especially since the volcano has calmed down there now, is Iceland. I just see a huge growth spurt. So you're planning on doing a fam trip there, Kim? Is that the deal?
No, not to Iceland. to Romania and Bulgaria.
Oh, but I thought Iceland was one of the fam trips you were looking.
No, my host, she feels that actually I've heard that Iceland is, because of its popularity, it's becoming so much more expensive now. Yeah, and it's
very expensive there, but it's it's cheap to get there. It's cheap to get there, but once you get over there, that's where everything eats you up. But it's I've just heard nothing but great things. It's I mean,
absolutely. Like and I think it's also cool because people go there all year. It's not like there's really just one season, because if you want to see the Northern Lights, you pretty much have to go, from November till March.
Which is what my intern did. She was there in January just to see the Northern Lights, and she loved it there. I was listening to, because I listen to travel podcasts, and one of the podcasts I believe was Condé Nast, and they were talking about how the people in Iceland are upset with the travelers. They were talking about over-tourism. And one of the things they talked about is the reason why they're upset with the tourists is because they only go to the tourist areas like the Blue Lagoon, Reykjavik, and maybe a few other things. And they're not really going out into other parts of the country where you need to, see what's I like going to the off the beaten track. I don't like going to the big, like when I go to Ireland, after like 20 years of selling Ireland, I finally went and saw the Blarney Castle. I'm sorry. But I didn't kiss it. I went up there just to see what it was all about, and I was just like, okay, it's a nice, pretty place. Let's go. I'm out. So, that's kind of how I feel about Iceland. If I were to go to Iceland, I definitely would want to go to the outskirts and the off the beaten track areas and see what's really happening and meet the people.
Yeah, definitely. But Wendy, have you been there? Do you know?
Yes, I have. It was
how's the availability of vegan food outside of the capital? I think that might be the difficult part for vegans.
Yeah, it's a good question, which I'm not that well placed to answer because it was actually before I became vegan when I went there. So it was a few years ago. But several people have asked me about Iceland, so I have done research about it, and I've seen a lot of indications that it's getting better and better there. And just in terms of things that you can find in the supermarkets, for example, because you're probably going to be self-catering a lot. I mean, when I went there, I think we were there for 17 days and we camped for all but one or two of them. Wow. And that's not something that we normally do, but it was just to cut down the costs.
So you basically saw the whole country then. I mean, you could do it. My understanding, you can do it in a week. Unlike places like Ireland where people think you can do it in a week,
right,
because it's small, you can't. But Iceland, from my understanding, is you can actually do it in a week or see a lot of it.
Yeah, I would say 2 weeks would be better, but you can see a lot in a week. There's a ring road that goes around the whole country, and so that's kind of the really obvious, pathway to take. We did it without a car because we don't drive. My husband and I don't drive. So there is a bus that's kind of. No, we didn't walk. You could try to hitchhike, but because the population is so low, the traffic, there's not going to be that much traffic. But there is a bus that's kind of a hop on, hop off service, and that worked out really well. So we took that, we camped. I don't really remember what we ate, but I think that we prepared most of our own meals on our camp stove. And if you're doing that, then from what I understand, you can find plenty of vegan options in the supermarkets, and also, takeaway items like sandwiches and things that you can grab from the supermarkets or from gas stations and things like that. So I have found a couple of links that I've sent to people who have asked me. There's one really thorough vegan guide to Iceland that has a lot of helpful information. So I wouldn't worry about it. I think vegans will be fine.
It was like a big vegan Iceland freak. I don't know if you guys know her.
Amanda Berger?
No, Honey LeBronx.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah. Yeah, so she's even
Oh,
learned how
yeah,
to
no, I
speak.
do remember now. On the podcast, there were a couple of episodes where Ben interviewed
Yes,
people that he had met in Iceland. Is
yes.
that, yeah.
Well, if
Okay.
anybody doesn't know who Honey LeBronx is, she is your vegan drag queen podcaster slash blogger slash drag queen show.
Yeah.
What
We
else
just
to
had
call
the
her?
Veg Fest in Atlanta last
Oh,
month.
yeah?
Oh,
But you know
Oh.
what's so funny? A couple years ago, I was at Blossom Restaurant in Chelsea, New York, and he was my waiter.
Yeah, I was going to say he works there.
He
so
told
funny.
me about the podcast, and then I went home and looked at it. And I absolutely could not believe it was the same person. It was incredible.
Especially when he has a beard and then all of a sudden he doesn't. Like, how do you do that?
Yeah. How do you do that? So the podcast, if people want to know, is called Big Fat Vegan Radio,
Right.
and it just celebrated its 100th episode. And Donna, you and I were both there.
I know I had to quickly get off, but I didn't hear you, so I'll have to go listen to it again. That was fun.
It was very cool.
Yeah. So where else do you guys see? I mean, Ireland, I always think is a big thing. People love Ireland. I'm just trying to think, you know, where else I'm finding that people are interested in, and not even for the vegans, but just in general, is Croatia.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
that's a really up and coming area that people are going to.
Mm-hmm.
And I heard that being vegan there is not a problem at all. And I heard that the sites are beautiful and everything is, you know, just really gorgeous there. And you know what keeps popping up, which is what Maria's thinking about going to, is Cambodia.
Oh, yeah?
Yes. So I'm getting a lot of requests for those areas. I don't know about you, Kim, but are there any other thoughts about other areas that you're seeing that people are really interested in?
Well, I haven't been having people interested in these places, but I heartily recommend them, and I know they're easy as a vegan, is the Baltic countries of Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania. I absolutely loved them. And the three countries were so different from each other in terms of the architecture, the food, and yeah, and they're also really reasonably priced. The cities are so old and in such good condition. They weren't really damaged during the war at all. Found that the older people there might not speak much English, and so a lot of times they were the ones that were working in tourist positions, like selling bus tickets or whatever. So that was a little bit hard. But the younger people spoke flawless English, not even with an accent, which was just really impressive. And they were all just so whimsical, like with street art and the way the restaurants were decorated and the hotels. I absolutely loved it there. So I'm going to try to start pushing them more, even though because I think people don't even really know that they exist.
Yeah. No, they don't. You know, I think Condé Nast was actually talking about them as well as the Baltics. So
yeah, I mean, it's hard to believe they were still under communism just like over 20 years ago. The amount that's happened there is, you know, and you can very, very easily go from Helsinki to Tallinn with a ferry. It only takes like an hour or something. And yeah, so and the Scandinavian countries kind of keep popping up a lot as being very vegan friendly now.
Yeah, and in general too. But I keep getting a lot of Asia trips, you know, people wanting to do Japan or, you know, Tokyo or so.
Yeah, actually, when I go to vegan festivals, a lot of people are interested in Japan.
Yeah.
And it's
planned a trip. Easier. It was not, people didn't realize.
I think that Kyoto is pretty good. And actually a vegan B&B is going to be opening in Kyoto by a couple that I think they might be Australian, and it's supposed to open in March. So I had somebody that wants to go there. She really was not interested in Tokyo. And in Kyoto, there's a lot of vegan restaurants.
Yeah, and
So
people used to think years ago, they'd call me and say, "Well, can I do Japan? It's got to be easy. They don't eat a lot of meat." Well, they didn't eat a lot of meat. What they would do a lot of, and people didn't understand, is everything like from the rice to they sauteed everything in beef stock or chicken
It's not
stock or
beef, it's
something.
fish.
I
Or,
thought it
well,
was
yeah,
fish.
but beef too. I mean, there was a
Oh yeah.
lot of stuff in there that you just didn't know what, would be in something rice. I mean, why would you even put something?
Yeah,
So it was
Yeah.
very hard back in the day, but I think that they are changing.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they're also changing a lot of, like in China, for instance, they're changing to eating more of an Americanized food system. So that's
yeah,
not always the greatest, but at least they understand better, more, the vegan or vegetarian aspect now than they did 20, even 10 years ago.
Yeah, yeah. No, I've seen a lot of indications that it's getting better. I haven't been yet to Japan. It's on my calendar for 2019. So when we have this conversation again next year, then I'll tell you all about my
Oh,
upcoming trip
yeah, no
to
kidding.
Japan, because that's going to be a bigger trip, not just Japan, but we'll talk about that another time.
So what do you,
Um, hmm?
so what do you think is going to be like an up and coming area, Wendy?
Yeah, good question. I don't know if this is up and come, or I don't know if this is a new thing or not, but I see so much about Southeast Asia in general. I mean, you talked about Cambodia in
Right.
particular, and I think that's maybe one of the last of the Southeast Asian countries for people to kind of for it to come across their radar. Thailand has always been a really huge one, and particularly in the vegan community. And with good reason. And then Bali as well in Indonesia. That's like
Yeah.
a huge vegan hotspot.
Well, Bali's kind of in it's going to take another year or two because they've got the volcano stuff going over there right now. So it's kind of like how Iceland was 5 years ago, where it
Mm,
kind of just leveled out and then all of a sudden it came back. So we'll see it come back. And speaking of that, the Caribbean, and actually, Kim, I want to talk to you because we got invited somewhere. The Caribbean is out for a while. There's just no, I mean, although there are a lot of islands in the Caribbean that have really are trying to make a comeback, and they really didn't get hit that hard. One being Dominican Republic, because I have a friend living there, and I have a well-known resort there. We really need to try and support these countries because they need our tourist dollars, and Puerto Rico is going to be a while before it gets back, and obviously so is Barbuda. Antigua is actually sending me a lot of information, so they're planning on being up and running soon. Um, Virgin Islands, I had been thinking about sending somebody there, and I was told it's going to be at least a year before it's up and running into normal capacity.
wow.
But Puerto Rico is actually doing a vegan festival, Kim. You and I need to talk
wow,
here. So maybe
yeah,
do something like bring some people down and just go and have some fun. I think it's in February or March. So we have to
that would
figure
be
out the
great.
dates. But yes, we need to still support these countries. I mean, there's so much beauty down there. In St. Lucia is amazing. They call St. Lucia like the East Coast Hawaii. It's just such a beautiful place. And, the Bahamas is still up and running. I mean, they all are up and running. So don't you want to look into it to make sure that it's still there. But a lot of places just had downed trees and now they don't have tourism. And that's their sole, it's their number one industry. So,
Yeah,
we need to figure out how to support them again in a way that's sustainable for them. Um,
Mhm.
I don't know where I was going with this, but I wanted to talk about the staples, like the yearly staples. I mean, one of my places is obviously Ireland, but Costa Rica is another one. It's just a really strong tourism staple that people love. It's still very eco-friendly. It's very vegetarian friendly, always has been, always will be. I mean, I know you have to be careful on some of the rice stuff, but um, Maria, if you're still there, can you tell me what you think? Can you tell us what you think?
I'm not sure
Oh,
if
she
she's
had to
here.
run. I'm sorry. Okay. She had to go. Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's okay. I was just gonna say I think I remember that Maria had said earlier that she had to take off.
Okay.
Yeah, so I guess my input would just be Southeast Asia, and I do think that it is a really great destination for vegan travelers, particularly if you're maybe a new vegan and you're worried about traveling as a vegan and being able to find vegan food. You know,
We're going to
that
talk
is,
about that next month, traveling as a first-time vegan, right?
yeah. So we can go into more detail then. But, you know, it's great for a lot of reasons. I mean, because there's a large kind of expat vegan community in places like Chiang Mai and Ubud in Bali. So you have lots of restaurants and things that have popped up to cater to that foreign market. But then you also have, you know, the Buddhist, vegetarian, and vegan movement that locally, the locals that may not be vegan all the time, but at least on particular days of the month, if they're practicing Buddhist, then they might eat vegan on those particular days. And so you have these vegetarian and vegan, mostly vegan restaurants that cater to that. You know, so there are a lot of, and then you have all the exotic tropical fruits and everything. So there's kind of a lot of factors that come together and make, I think, Southeast Asia a really great destination for vegan travelers in particular. And it's very cheap. It's very affordable.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Yeah. You can go there on a small budget and still be able to travel for a while.
No. What do you guys think about the Middle East? I mean, anywhere like any places in particular that you like, or
Yeah.
I used to go to Israel and
Mm.
the vegan scene there.
oh
Yeah.
yeah, the vegan scene's great there. But do you think that's like a? I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on there too. So do you
I
think?
know it's hard to know what to do.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be worried about going to Israel. I would absolutely go to Israel right now. And it's been many years since I was there. So, and that was in my pre-vegan days. So I would absolutely love to go check out the vegan scene of Tel Aviv and also just see more of Israel, because when I was there, it was in 2003 and security was a concern. And so, my husband and I, we weren't married at that time, but that was the first big trip we did. And we went all through the Middle East, from Cairo to Istanbul. We took about 3 months going overland through Egypt and Lebanon, Israel, Syria, Jordan, and Turkey. And it was amazing. That's still maybe my favorite trip of all the trips that we've taken.
Wow.
Now,
That's a lot.
yeah, I mean, the security situation has changed for the worse in some of those places,
Right.
Syria in particular, you know, which is really tragic because it's an incredible place.
Yeah, well, Turkey too. I've been to Turkey twice and absolutely love it there. And I'm just so sad because it seems like every time they make progress, something happens, you know, and
Kind of like
now
Kenya.
it's a little tenuous with the visa situation there.
Yeah.
Even they've made it really difficult to get a visa to go there.
Really?
But
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they started that right when actually the week Demetrius was there, like the next week that happened. So, yeah, so he was able to go there right under the radar. But
right now you can only get a visa if you go to a consulate in person. There's no more online for right now, but hopefully it'll change.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I would love to go back to Paris. I have family there. I was supposed to go there about a year ago before I had a back issue. And I want to go back. I love Paris. I didn't think I'd ever say it because I just thought, Paris, but I love it there. And it's so vegan friendly there now.
Yeah, it's incredible what's happening there lately. And a friend of mine from the Boston area is there right now. She's originally Parisian, so she's posting every day. And she said now even outside of Paris, like in Versailles and other places, you can start finding vegan food outside the city now even.
Yeah.
And she was just posting pictures of a store that opened there that's like a small grocery store, clothing store, bookstore, shoe store. No, this one is in Paris, but completely vegan.
Wow.
I loved Versailles. We only spent like a few hours there, and I thought, you know what? We really should have spent an overnight there.
Yeah.
And I love creepy things. Sometimes I love the cemetery. Have you been to their cemetery, that famous cemetery there?
Yeah.
It's
The
Yeah.
amazing. And you go and see Jim Morrison's
Mhm.
site, and it's totally, graffiti and everything. And then I went to see Oscar Wilde's grave. Did you see that? Like with the
Yeah.
kisses. The ironic part is all the lipstick is all over his gravesite. So I did do that. I'm sorry, I did do the thing that the tourist shouldn't do, but I did.
No. Anything you want to do is okay.
As long as you don't destroy yeah. But
Mhm.
so our time is coming up, ladies. I don't know if anybody's watching, if they want to come in for a minute, or if they have any questions. I don't see any questions right now, but you can always post your questions below. And again, please share this out. And I just want to thank you two for joining us today. Um,
It was
Kim,
fun.
can you pronounce your last name for me?
Yeah. Giavaco.
Just like it is. Kim is Kim Giavaco of Veg Johnson Journeys, and Wendy Werneth is of the Nomadic Vegan. I always forget to put the in front of there. And I'm Donna of Green Earth Travel, and we'll be back next month. Hopefully, Caitlin's going to be back. She's visiting family right now. I meant to say that. So we'll be back next month, and I'm hoping that Be Life will be able to allow us to put a fourth person. Otherwise, we'll do 3 at a time, and whoever wants to join us. Next month we're going to be talking about being, if you're just becoming a vegan, because Veganuary is coming up. For those who don't know, Veganuary is like your resolution that you're going to become vegan for the year. So they, instead of January, they call it Veganuary, and there's a lot of cool places that you can go and look if you're interested in becoming a vegan in the month of January. And one of the things we will be talking about is how not to be afraid of traveling as a first-time vegan, because it's not that scary. It's especially now. When I started in the 80s, that was a whole nother story.
Yeah.
But it's totally it's easy now. There's no reason not to do it now. So I just want to thank you guys for this great year that we've had, and I'm glad that Wendy, you and I have been able to connect, and Kim and Caitlin, and I'm looking for some great things for us to do next year. And Kim, we need to talk about Puerto Rico.
Yeah, definitely.
So I want to wish everyone a happy and healthy holiday, whether it's Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, and a happy new year. And we'll see you next month. Thanks. Bye,
Bye.
everyone.
Happy holidays.
Thank you. Happy holidays.